A man walks the streets of Turin. It is 1888. His eyes burn, his head throbs like a war drum. He can barely see. The migraines are so violent that he wants to tear his own skull out. No one reads his books. No one understands him. His mother treats him like a child. His sister manipulates him. The love of his life has rejected him twice. He is alone, poor, sick, forgotten, and yet, he writes, "My formula for greatness in humankind is Amor Fati, wanting nothing different, whether in the past, in the future, or throughout all eternity." This man is Friedrich Nietzsche, and he has just given us the most dangerous weapon in philosophy. Grab your whiskey as we delve deeper into the topic. Nietzsche's formula for loving life, Amor Fati. Before we continue, if you want to delve deeper into the abyss and not miss any episodes of this channel, subscribe now. It's not about numbers. It's about intellectual complicity. It's about you being here when the next inconvenient truth is revealed. Nietzsche disse, I only became who I am when I learned to say yes to life. Now, tell me, do you know how to say yes to your life? Not to the life you wish you'd had. Not to the edited, filtered, romanticized life of your 3 a.m. fantasies, but to real life, the one with the scars, with the humiliations, with the mistakes you would repeat 1,000 times if you could go back in time, but you can't. That life you carry like a cross or like a crown. Because Nietzsche wasn't talking about toxic positivity. He wasn't selling a self-help course. He was proposing something much more radical, much more dangerous. Love destiny, do not accept. Do not tolerate. Do not make peace. Amor Fati. Think about it for a moment. To love destiny means to look at every moment of pain, every betrayal, every failure, every low sound, say, yes, I want this, exactly like this, again and again, forever. Does it sound insane? Maybe it is. But Nietzsche lived this insanity. He had every reason to hate life. He lost his father at the age of 4. He grew up suffocated by pious women who treated him like a fragile saint. He tried to be a teacher, but his body couldn't handle it. He tried to love, but Lou Salome preferred another. He published masterpieces that were completely ignored. He lived with a headache that would make you beg for death. And yet, he wrote that his life was perfect, that he wouldn't change a thing. That if he had to live it all over again, exactly the same, he would say, again, this is not optimism. It's something far more savage. It's the courage to affirm life, not despite suffering, but through it. It's transforming every poison into medicine, every fall into dance, every humiliation into fuel. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, if only that hadn't happened? Of course you have, everyone has. That if only is the virus of the soul, it's resentment corroding you from the inside. It's just still stuck in the past, begging for a second chance that will never come. Nietzsche looked at that if only and spat on the ground, because he understood, you are what happened to you. There is no true you hidden beneath your experiences. Your wounds have sculpted you. Your defeats have forged you. You are the sum of every wrong choice, every excruciating pain, every moment you wanted to erase from your memory. And the question isn't, why did this happen to me? The question is, what am I going to do with this? Amor Fati is the answer. It's saying, this is mine, and I transform it into power. Take a deep breath, because now things are getting serious. So let's dissect this beast. Let's open up the concept like a surgeon opens up a body with precision, without fear of blood. Amor Fati. 2 words in Latin. Love. You know what it is? Fati, destiny, fate, that which cannot be changed. Together, they mean love for destiny. But be careful. Don't confuse this with resignation. Resignation is the weary sigh of someone who gives up. It's saying, fine, I accept it because I have no choice. It's the surrender of the defeated. It's passive. It's weak. It's the opposite of what Nietzsche proposes. Amor Fati is not about accepting life, it is to affirm life. It's about looking at every piece of it, the beautiful and the horrific, the glorious and the pathetic, and shouting, yes, I want it. It is active. It is wild. It is the difference between a slave who obeys and a king who chooses his throne. even if that throne is made of thorns. Now, you must be thinking, but how? How can I love the day I was betrayed, the day I lost someone, the day I failed publicly? That's crazy. Single. Yes, it's madness, but it's madness that sets you free. Because Nietzsche connected Amor Fati with another, even more brutal idea, the eternal return. Imagine this scenario. A demon appears to you at midnight and says, your life will repeat itself, exactly as it was every moment. Every choice, every pain, every joy, infinitely, forever. You will never be able to change anything. You will live this again and again and again. What would your first reaction be? Horror? Despair? Would you grit your teeth thinking about all the things you want to erase? Or would you smile and say, perfect, bring it on again? This is proof. If the idea of eternal return crushes you, it's because you still don't love your life. You're still at war with your destiny. You still carry the weight of regret of it could have been different. But if you can look at your life with all its flaws, wounds, and fillers and say, yes, I would sign off on that again, then you have attained Amor Fati, you have become free. Because, look, there's no time machine. There's no CTRL plus C for existence. What's done is done, and dwelling on the past is like drinking poison, hoping the other person will die. It's you destroying yourself over something that no longer exists. Amor Fati is the antidote. It's transforming poison into elixir. It's saying that which almost destroyed me also built me up. Think about your worst emotional scar, the one you hide, the one that hurts when someone brings it up. Now answer me this. Who would you be without it? Would you be stronger, wiser, deeper, or would you just be shallower? Your wounds gave you depth. Your falls taught you to walk more carefully. Your humiliation showed you who you really are when the masks fall. Nietzsche isn't asking you to like pain. He's saying, use the door. Forge your identity with it. Don't be the victim of your story. Be the author. And here's the key point. Amor Fati isn't about the past. It's about now. It's about how you face what's happening right now. Because life will keep hitting you. It will keep testing you. And you have two choices. Option and complain. Lament. Blame the universe, society, others. Live in perpetual resentment. Option dos, embrace, transform. Use each blow as fuel to become stronger, freer, more yourself. Nietzsche chose the second path. And look what he became. A man who died insane, but who 130 years later is still changing lives. His pain became philosophy. His hell became eternal fire. Do you have the courage to do the same? Or will you remain trapped in the court of your own history, judging every decision, reliving every mistake, waiting for a forgiveness that will never come? Because that's what Amor Fati is. Forgiving life is life. It's about stopping fighting the inevitable. It's about dancing with the chaos. It's about becoming who you already are, without excuses, without if onlys. Think about it. Really think about it. Now, let's talk about the enemy. Because Amor Fati has a deadly adversary, a parasite that infiltrates the soul and sucks all vitality, resentment. Nietzsche hated resentment. Not only did he hate it, he considered it the central disease of modern humanity, the moral plague that transforms living people into walking corpses, and he had a special name for it. Resentment in French, because even German couldn't capture the rot he wanted to describe. What is resentment? It's the acid you drink, hoping it will burn the other person. It's frozen anger. It's the grudge you carry like a trophy. It's looking back and saying, I could have been great. If it weren't for that person, that event, that injustice, it's outsourcing your life. It's turning yourself into a professional victim. And you know what's worse? Resentment is addictive. It gives you a comfortable narrative. It absolves you of responsibility. It's not my fault. My life is like this. It's their fault. It gives you a villain, and everyone loves having a villain to blame. But Nietzsche looked at it and saw the stark truth. Resentment is the refusal to live. It's the negation of life. It's saying no to everything that brought you here. It's the exact opposite of Amor Fati. Think about how many people you know who live like this, trapped in the past, retelling the same stories of betrayal, humiliation, injustice, always with the same refrain. If only I had chosen a different course. If only my father had been different. If only that person hadn't betrayed me. That if only is a prison, and you throw away the key every time you repeat that phrase. Nietzsche saw this in the religion of his time. He saw it in Christianity, which he called the religion of resentment. Why? Because according to him, Christianity preached, you suffer in this life because the powerful oppress you. But don't worry, God will reward you in heaven and punish the oppressors in hell. In other words, endure the suffering now, because justice will come later. Don't act. Don't transform. Don't change. Just resent and wait. For Nietzsche, this was the death of the spirit. It was transforming human beings into obedient lambs, into passive martyrs. It was teaching people to love their weakness and hate their strength. And before you say, but I'm not religious, this doesn't apply to me, take a deep breath, because resentment is everywhere in modern culture. It's in the obsession with canceling people, in the culture of in the competition of who suffered more, in the addiction to rewriting the past, in the toxic nostalgia of those who think things were better in the old days. It's in your uncle who blames the government for everything. It's in the person who never gets over their ex. It's in you when you relive that argument from 3 years ago at 3 in the morning. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Resentment is democratic. It doesn't choose social class, ideology, or generation. It only needs one thing: for you to refuse to take responsibility for your own life. Nietzsche had a brutal phrase: he who cannot obey himself will be commanded. If you don't take control of your narrative, someone else will. If you don't write your story, resentment will write it for you. And it will be a victim's story. Now, here's the problem. The world really is unfair. Horrible things really happen to people who don't deserve it. You really could have been betrayed, abandoned, humiliated, and Nietzsche doesn't deny that. He's not a motivational coach selling good vibes. The difference is this: you can recognize injustice without becoming a slave to it. You can say, yes, that was awful. Yes, I didn't deserve it. And yet, I'm going to turn this into power. I'm going to use this as fuel. I'm not going to let that moment define me forever. This is Amor Fati. It's not about denying the pain. It's about refusing to let the pain possess you. Because every time you mentally relive that betrayal, that humiliation, that failure, you are giving it power. You are keeping alive what should be dead. You are being devoured by the past. And Nietzsche would ask, how much more time are you going to waste on this? Are you still trapped in the courtroom of your own history? Still judging every decision? Still appealing to an invisible jury that will never acquit you? Or do you have the courage to stand up, look at your scars and say, this is meanie, and I decide what I do with it? Think about it. Really think about it. Now we arrive at the heart of the abyss. At the moment when philosophy ceases to be theory and becomes brutal survival practice, how the hell do you practice Amor Fati? How do you transform poison into medicine? How do you stop being a victim and become the sculptor of your own existence? Nietzsche doesn't give you a 5-step manual. He doesn't sell you a magic formula, because what he's proposing is in a revolution, it's such a radical shift in perspective that it changes the texture of your reality. First, you need to understand an uncomfortable truth. You didn't choose to be born. You didn't choose your family. You didn't choose your body, your time period, your initial circumstances. You were thrown into this world without an instruction manual. Pure contingency. Pure chance. This is terrifying. But it's also liberating, because if you didn't choose the starting point, then there's nothing to regret. There's no alternate version of you in some parallel universe living the right life. There's only this you, here, now, with this story, with these wounds. And the only question that matters is, what are you going to do with it? Amor Fati is the decision to stop bargaining with life. It's stopping saying, I would accept my story if only that hadn't happened. It's stopping setting conditions. It's saying, I love my story because that happened. Does it sound masochistic? Maybe, but look at it from another angle. Every pain you felt gave you depth. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every failure showed you your limits and how to overcome them. Every humiliation ripped off your masks and showed you who you are when you're naked. You wouldn't be you without all of this. Nichishi one must have chaos within oneself to give birth to a dancing star. Your chaos is not a flaw. It's raw material. It's the fire that forges you. It's the hammer that sculpts you. Think of it this way. A blacksmith doesn't lament the heat of the furnace. He uses the heat. He knows that without fire, the metal cannot be shaped. Without pressure, there is no transformation. You are the blacksmith, and you are also the metal. And the fire is your experiences, all of them. Amor Fati is learning how to use fire. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine you were betrayed by someone you loved. The pain is real. The anger is real. The grief is real. And you have two options. Option one, carry this as an open wound for the rest of your life. Relive the betrayal mentally. Become a bitter person. Say, because of that, I will never trust anyone again. Build walls. Close yourself off. Define your identity by your pain. Option two, go through the pain. Feel everything. And then ask, what did this teach me? How did this make me stronger? How did this show me what I truly value? Transform betrayal into wisdom. Use the pain as fuel to become someone who chooses better, loves more consciously, lives more intensely. The first option is resentment. The second is Amor Fati and understand. It's not about forgiving the person who betrayed you. It's not about making peace with them. It's about let that event define you forever. It's about reclaiming your power. Because every time you blame the past for the present, you're saying, I have no control over my life. And that's a lie. You don't control what happens, but you do control what you do with what happens. Nietzsche called this to give style to one's own character. It's the art of transforming even your flaws into part of your work. It's making every scar a signature. It's saying, yes, I stumbled. Yes, I fell. And now I dance with this fall. That's not optimism. Optimism is believing that everything will turn out all right. Amor Fati is knowing that not everything will turn out all right, and still say yes. It's saying yes to life, not because it's fair, but because it's yours. It's saying yes to pain because it made you real. It's saying yes to chaos because it sets you free. It is the absurd courage to look into the abyss and shout, I want this again. Your scar is not a flaw. It's a signature. Your fall is not a shame. It's proof that you dared. Your pain is not weakness. It's evidence that you lived. And Nietzsche asks you, do you have the courage to say that? Because if you have it, then you become free. Free from resentment, free from regret, free from the burden of carrying a life you reject. You become what Nietzsche called free spirit, someone who no longer needs excuses, someone who no longer needs saving, someone who says, this is my life. Undi love it. Da. Eat all of it. Take a deep breath. Now the abyss stares back at you. So here we are at the end, or should we say at the beginning, because Amor Fati is not a destination. It's a way of walking. It's not something you achieve and that's it. Mission accomplished. It's a daily practice. It's a war you wage with yourself every time the temptation of if only knocks on the door. Nietzsche knew this. He didn't live in a perpetual state of philosophical enlightenment. He suffered. He doubted. He wrote desperate letters. He wept alone in cheap rooms. And yet, he chokes every day to say yes. That is the tragic beauty of Amor Fati. It is not the absence of pain. It is the formation of pain as a necessary part of the work. Do you want to be extraordinary? Then you need extraordinary experiences, and that includes extraordinary pain. Do you want depth? Then you need abysses. Do you want to be free? Then you need to break free from everything that binds you to the past. And the strangest thing happens when you actually embrace it. Life ceases to be an enemy and becomes a dance. Because when you stop fighting the inevitable, when you stop bargaining with fate, when you simply accept that you are the result of everything that has happened, good and bad, you become light, not frivolous. Light, able to dance. Nietzsche used this image. The dancer, someone who moves with grace, not because the ground is perfect, but because they have learned to work with imperfection. someone who transforms stumbles into dance steps. You can be that dancer, or you can continue being the judge who condemns every wrong move. And look, I know this isn't easy. I know there are scars that burn. I know there are losses that seem unforgivable. I know you carry a burden. Everyone the wise. But Nietzsche would ask you a brutal question. How much more time are you going to waste carrying around what's already dead? Because every minute you spend dwelling on the past is a minute stolen from the present. Every ounce of energy you put into resentment is energy you could be using to create something new. Amor Fati is this transformed weight into momentum. It's about taking everything that dragged you down and using it as a springboard. And here is the final secret. The truth that Nietzsche hid at the heart of it all. When you truly love your destiny, when you truly affirm your entire life, you become. No one can hurt you with your past because you've already made peace with it. No one can diminish you with your flaws because you've already incorporated them into your identity. No one can control you with fear of the future because you've already accepted that you will suffer again and that you will transform that suffering into power again. You become free, radically free. And freedom, for Nietzsche, is not about doing whatever you want. It is wanting what is. It's about loving reality so intensely that you no longer need fantasies of redemption, narratives of revenge, or promises of paradise. You're already here. That's all that matters. The abyss is not your enemy. The abyss is your mirror. And when you look into it without fear, without flight, without resentment, it looks back at you and it recognizes you and it loves you because you had courage. Courage to be exactly who you are. Courage to affirm your entire story. Courage to say, as Nietzsche said, that's how it was. That's how I wanted it. And that's how I want it again. That's the formula. It's not happiness. It's not peace. It's something wilder, more dangerous, more real. It is love for life as it is. So I'll ask you one last time, and you don't need to answer me, you need to answer it yourself. Do you have the courage to love your life? All of it, without edits, without filters, without if only. If the answer is yes, welcome to the other side. Welcome to freedom. If the answer is no, then you know where your next battle lies. Nietzsche spent his final years in silence, mad, absent. But before departing, he left these words engraved for eternity. Was that life? Well then, once again, this is the battle cry of those who have achieved Amor Fati. And now you choose empty whiskey. Fill your glass. The next abyss awaits you. Subscribe to the channel